What's up, my witches? How you doing? Good evening to you. Welcome to my channel. Hello, Darcy. Hello, Tavia. Hello, Sam. Hello, Amy. Hello, Natalie. I'm so happy to see you all. So happy. Yes, finally started raining. Here in Portage County, I suspected for many years that, hey, wait a minute. I'm just noticing. Okay, test 1 2 1 2. Suddenly my Yeti is not registering anymore, so please let me know that you can hear me. Hello, Jessica. Hello, welcome. I'm assuming you can hear me, or somebody would have said something by now. Okay. At any rate, for many years, hello, Deb. I don't want to miss anybody. Hello, Becca. I've suspected that some of the witches that have been very prominent in Kent since way back in the 80s, since before then, way before then, but since I came to Kent in the 80s, that maybe for a ritual or something, somebody put an umbrella over Kent and then forgot to take it down, because we watch weather fronts, rain, storm fronts and stuff coming right at us, and then it splits and goes around. And what's actually happening is Akron is like the highest point, and it's west of us, so it reaches the highest point, dumps its rain, and goes around. But anyway, I'm glad it's raining. I'm glad it's raining. We have some daffodils out back that are blooming for the first time in many years, so that's exciting. I want to see messages here. Wow, lots of messages. Thanks, you guys. Let's see here. Hello. Hi from the future, Natalie. I love it. Neptune, Pisces, 5th house. Okay, it will be interesting to see what turns up. Amy, I'm happy to have you here. It's been a rough week for everybody, kiddo. Okay, let's see. Amy, blessings to all. Yes, and yeehaw! Thank you for that energy rush, Becca. First time for Jessica. So happy. Let's see. I can hear you good, sounding good. I'm glad it's good. Yay, 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 yay. If you're new here and you're using headphones and you're noticing you can only hear me in one headphone, it's my microphone. There's not much I can do about it. So anyway, I also wanted to tell you that the thing I am wearing, my crowfoot necklace, was a gift from my daughter, and it was made by an artist in Russia. I've had it for several years now, a couple of years maybe. Anyway, ooh, Samantha, youch, got your butt kicked by a stomach bug. Oh, well, okay. Well, I'll tell you where I'm at tonight. Over the last week in particular, but it's been more than a week, just a little over a week. There's been a lot of pain. I mean, we're all in a lot of pain. Let's put it that way. The earth is in pain. So many levels. And, you know, from visceral images coming out of Ukraine of the atrocities and the devastation that is now just unfolding to us, to pop culture stuff that has caused like lots of knee-jerk, painful reaction. I've witnessed an awful lot over the last week, and wow, I'm not going to go into details. You know what's going on. You guys know what's going on. You're here. You're living it. So tonight, what I want to do is address pain. The pain of deep change, deep transformation. The pain of when a cycle is breaking down and a new cycle is beginning. We are certainly in the breakdown period. And it might feel like some things are not breaking down, some things are rising, like, you know, authoritarianism, insanity, narcissism. you know, things like that. But what we're witnessing really is just the breakdown of functionality. And the rise of those things is just because they're becoming visible to us. You know, as things break down, we go to our knee-jerk place. We go to our trauma place. We go to our shame place. I went through a shame dance last week, and it's painful as hell. I've watched everything from white fragility, trauma acting out, shame acting out. I've been, you know, the energies are just incredible. And I mean, this Aries new moon was a kick in the ass, right? So rather than moaning, especially on the personal level, to me, it's where do I need to clean up? What is ripening? What is ripening here that needs to go, that I need to process, that I need to feel? And this week, my bedrock, my trauma bedrock is self-worth. And boy, did I get smacked in the face with it over the last week. And I even did a spell over the weekend, and it was a fast-acting one. My son and I afterwards were on our way to the grocery store, and I opened my mouth to sing a song, the line of which didn't seem like a resonant line to me, but as I started to try to sing it, sobs came out instead, because the spell had what spell work usually does. You know, we tend to think, especially if we're getting into these things, you know, at the ground level, we're beginning our journey with spell work, with magic, all this kind of stuff. You tend to think of magic as being able to skip steps. We'll do a spell, and then the thing will come to me, and I don't have to work for it, you know. But magic has a price. Everything, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Cause and effect. That is the law of karma. So whatever we take, we pay for in some way. And if we want to work on the energetic level and the subtle levels to bring things into our life, we pay on the energetic and the subtle levels. What am I willing to give for this? And it could be I give my devotion for this. It could be my payment is being willing to process my trauma so that I can give back some energy to the system that I've had locked up inside me. I can purify it by my grieving, my processing, my understanding, and I can release it back into the system to do good work. It's very rare that you do a spell for something big, you know, and not get confronted with what's in the way, unless you've seriously got your shit together. And if you do, you might not need to be doing magic. But it's like, you know, you do a working. Okay, I want to work for success. I want success in a particular project, and you're visualizing. You do the spell, and suddenly you're hit with all this emotional blowback of your fear of failure. And you're thinking, what the hell? I did magic so I didn't have to do this, you know, so I could just get the thing I want. But the magic is going to show you what's in the way of you having what is already in you. If you didn't have it in you already, you wouldn't even want it. So we take care of our emotions. We own up. We take responsibility. We tidy our own camp. And we deal with what's in the way. We process that stuff, and then we clear the path for whatever we're working for to come to us. Okay, checking in here. It'll be interesting to hear how we release it to make room for the change. Compassionate change. The only way out is through. Yes, ma'am. Doesn't have to be a linear journey. Is there any such thing? Is there any such thing? And one of the things we saw this past week was I think, a confrontation of linear trains of thought into an event that was loaded with intersectionality. So anyway, okay, shortest distance between 2 points is not a straight line. Yep, that's right. Bottle of vodka. That's a nice out, but yeah, it's an out, that's for sure. It's a Neptunian out. Okay, let's take a look at who's playing tonight. Who is playing? So I chose decks tonight based on, you know, I want to address this pain we're in, and not in the terms of picking scabs and digging deep into our trauma, but just something to lift us up. Things have gotten very heavy. So I'm looking tonight to lift us up. All right. What we have here is, first one, the Transparent Tarot. This is going to be fascinating, and I'm not going to use the white cloth for it because it hasn't been ironed. I'm just going to use a white sheet of paper. And I looked this up. Somebody commented on my video for it. Wait a minute. I feel like my camera's crooked. Somebody commented on the video I did for Transparent Tarot, and we were talking about the number of combinations. And if you take 78 cards and look at all possible combinations of 3, because they recommend that you stack them in 3s, there are 76,076 combinations possible in that deck. So amazing, right? Then we have the Crystal Power Tarot by Jane Wallace, and the Transparent is by Emily Carding. The Crystal Power Tarot has not only stones on each deck, but it has a phrase. It has like an affirmation on each deck, on each card, and it's very positive, and I'm very much in for that. Then we have Kyle Gray's Gateway of Light activation deck that I just unboxed last week. Then a Lucy Cavendish deck. You know, I love Lucy's deck so much, and they never show up in my live streams, and I was wondering why. And I think it's because I haven't worked with them to the point where I don't have to look some things up. Sometimes her cards have, you know, really nice keywords on them, but sometimes they don't. So I was glad to reach for the Foxfire deck tonight. Then, Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck by Dan May. And the Spellcaster's Tarot. Now, I have to say, whoops. I have to say that my main reason for this deck tonight is to ask it to give us some suggestions for spell work that we can do to help us get through what we're going through. And I also have another one set aside. We'll see how the timing goes, but I may pick just one from Kuan Yin Oracle. This is Alana Fairchild. I might just pick one because she has wonderful rituals and things too. I don't want to overload you, but you know, I get ambitious. Okay. Hello, Sherry. Neptune on your ascendant, Jake. That okay, that makes a lot of sense now. Yes, Guinness would do. I like my brandy personally. An overhead projector. Oh my God, Samantha, absolutely. Wow. I adore the Transparent Tarot. Intuitively, the way it reads, the way the pictures stack up is just, it's beyond anything. Okay. 5th time for Fox today, huh? Wow. Okay. Yeah, I love them too, Tavia. Have any around you that's being deceptive? I don't know. One before the Spellcasters is Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck. There's also I think it's called Into the Dark Forest is the tarot deck by this artist, and which is Dan May. I said it. Okay. All right. I have had some interesting things over the last couple of days where I open my mouth to say words that I have already decided upon, and different things come out. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. All right. Let's do let's do a smoke cleanse. And while we're doing this, would you please put your roots down? Light up your sage, light up your cedar, your Palo Santo. Okay, sorry, I've got iTunes doing things to me again. All right, and then the salt water that I offer to you. That by these 4 elements, may you be purified and charged, may you be blessed and made whole. And now let's have a sound clearing to call in spirit. Feel those vibrations going out and clearing the space around you, clearing your body of any unwanted energies for this moment. And the third, to set our intention to open ourselves to the messages that Spirit brings to us with an open mind and open heart, so mote it be. And then, to guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you so much for being here every minute of every day. Please forgive us for forgetting that. Please forgive us for falling into our delusion that we're doing this all on our own and that there's no help and support. Please forgive us for imagining that we are separate from each other. And I offer you this fresh water, and I offer the fire of Azrael to Spirit, to all of our wonderful decks, to the spirit of those decks, the spirit of divination that flows through all of them. All right. It looks, like there's a lot of light, but there isn't. And I can tell because this looks like it's navy blue. It's really purple. We'll see how this goes for me being able to see. All right. All the lights are turned up and everything. Anyhow, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the dice. The dice. We are in a Gemini moon tonight. That's why we've got a nice Gemini blue back there. Here, I got another nice Gemini color. That's a nice Gemini color too, I think. Right. Okay. Catching up. Okay, checking up. Foxes and hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are joy. And in the Lenormand deck, fox represents work. It represents skill and cunning. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean sneaky. Cunning means smart. Canny. The same kind of word root there. Loki Coyote is something. And slower in intensity. Hummingbirds are joy. Elephants, wow. To look up. Elephants are, to me, about family, matriarchy, They have such a strong community. Okay, and Ganesh, yeah. Ganesh is certainly an elephant. Ganesh, the remover of obstacles. There you go. All right. Elephant for spirit animal, many years during a challenging time. Well, I mean, if you think about what elephants have facilitated, they've been an animal that, unfortunately has been kind of enslaved, has been trained and kept by humans to do lots of big, heavy work. So, you think about the Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, an animal that is capable of moving big things. So Alrighty. Let's do our dice. Do or dice. That sounds like a bad game show. All right, we have Sun and Sagittarius in the second house. So Sun is about self-expression. Sun is about, here's who I am in this moment, here's who I am ultimately. Just shining your light. Here's me, my identity, my meaning, my experience. So the center of the universe, center of the solar system. And Sagittarius is, here's me on an adventure, me on a quest, me diving deep into understanding and meaning of things. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so there's passion, and it's a mutable sign, so it's change. So I'm thinking in terms of our topic tonight, talking about expressing how we feel about things, expressing our understanding, and second house is, guess what? Values. I have a deck on the way, and I can't wait to get it. It's called, I think it's called the Inner Compass deck by Teal, Swan. And it's 200 cards of values, just to help you find the values that really mean something to you, your core values. So fascinated by that. So all about values is the second house. It's about what gives us pleasure, but what we place value on, including ourselves and how we value ourselves. Our self-esteem. It's traditionally ruled, or in the flat wheel, ruled by Venus, which rules material things, anything pleasurable, everything we love, everything that we want to attract to us. Love and like the pleasure principle. So talking about sort of centering ourselves for the moment, we get drawn out into the world's problems, and then something happens, like a celebrity slaps another celebrity, and interesting conversations happen. And we're drawn into suddenly our own trauma, our own projections and reflections and, shit. But this is us as the center, but spreading out, looking at the other, looking at what isn't me, and seeking to understand, seeking to go beyond, to learn, to think, to process, to understand, and then how does that change our value system? How does that change our value system? And how does our understanding of things reflect our value system? There's been a lot about value systems with Uranus and Taurus. I've been talking a lot on the astrological things about things getting updated and being values driven, based, in practicality and values driven. Okay, so here we go. I don't know. I want the deck. I'm very excited about the deck. So we'll see. And I'm looking at it as a deck to use with other decks of, what value are we working on here? And I mean, 200 cards just with values on them sounds great to me. All righty. Let's see who we're working with first here. Yeah, second house. The 2 is the other, 1 is here, 2 is me and you, us and them. It's the other. It's when we start looking outside of ourselves and saying, what out there do I value? What kind of matches me? Okay, so here we go. 4. All right. We're not going to take apart other content creators and stuff here. We're trying to bring ourselves out of pain this week. So if we could please, I'd appreciate that. All righty. Number 4. Foxes, Samantha. Foxes come first. And I need to center myself a little bit. I feel my energy being very up high and I need it to go down low. So give me a second here. Do it with me. Drop your root down. Okay. Just needed to get back down in my body. That's all. All right, foxes. Let's see what you want to talk to us about. There we go. Make a wish. May I have a couple more? I'm going to cut for them. Do them in a row. Okay. Make a wish, coming of age, and the richness within. So, of course, make a wish is about projecting the future. It's about looking at what we would like to see. What is it? Let's narrow this down even more. Make a wish is bringing us to identify what we feel we don't have. You don't wish for things you already have, right? So let's look at this wish card and say, you know, what is it that I would wish for in this moment? And let that bring us to the realization that we feel we do not have that thing. This is something I feel I'm lacking. And so what we lack, what we feel we lack, can be a great source of pain. And it can also, you know, if you're a witch, make a wish means something very different, very much bigger than if you think about kind of ordinary mundane life and you're kind of going through and, oh, I wish I blah, blah, blah. I wish I, you know, complete that sentence. And it's either it's usually I wish I had, maybe I wish I had done, I wish I had said, or I wish I had this in my life right now. So I think one way we can deal with our painful spots is to acknowledge where we feel a lack and then see what we need to do about that lack. Coming of age in the center. So coming of age can talk about initiation. And an initiatory experience is a Plutonian experience. Initiation is when something shifts inside. You know, seismic shift, sea change kind of things. Initiation is when something changes in your mind, when you get a reframe, when you get a new view of something, and suddenly it's like, oh, I get it now. And that is a beginning of a new way of seeing things. That's what initiation is. It's a beginning to initiate something. So coming of age here is about when you are beginning a new path, a path of maturity. It's also a completion because those are the same spot on the wheel, right? When one turns 13 or has their, you know, flowering into womanhood, you kind of look at that as a, you know, the beginning of womanhood. It's also the culmination of childhood and the ending of childhood. So coming of age is that transition point of change. And it can be a very painful time. Sometimes those initiatory experiences come with painful lessons that confront us with life. And then we change in response to that. We learn something. We have to go through, you know, our journey to come to a realization as this lesson ripens. And then I like the definition of initiation as and mystery too, as the lessons that we become. Suddenly you're hit with big understanding of something in life. Maybe it's not something you were looking to learn. It's not something anybody could teach you unless maybe through a conflict, through a relationship with them, through a, you know, interaction. observation. But, you know, we get put through the ringer, the great Plato fun factory of life, and then we feel ourselves grow. Particularly when we take responsibility in a situation and we're willing to say, yeah, I'm fucked up too, you know? And our understanding of ourselves grows, our understanding of humanity grows, of life in general grows, and that's what I'm seeing here in this coming of age, is that we are in this collective initiatory period here. We are in a collective period of going through intensive lessons. And our understanding of things is being challenged on the daily. You know, it's like, how far can you stretch your mind, you know, and then you're asked to stretch your mind again. And it's just, you know, keep expanding, keep expanding. Sagittarius is expansion, expanding your mind. Then we have the richness within. So I think what this is saying is when we go through our initiatory experiences, what we discover is what's inside of us. We discover the understanding that we're capable of. We understand the growth that we're capable of. And then we understand that we weren't lacking to begin with. That this is something that has lived inside of us. Oh, you know, I wish I could blah, 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 and you put it out there. Then you go through something that looks like the opposite of the thing that you were wishing for, and you're like, what the fuck is this? But that thing makes you clear some lessons and old trauma and makes you expand as a person, expand into a new level of your own potential, and then you discover that was always there. That was always there. I've always had this within me. And what it takes is being willing to go through the trials, being willing to acknowledge your own faults, being willing to forgive and be forgiven, being willing to change at the most fundamental level, being willing to change, which means willing to let go of the known in favor of the unknown, in order to let the unknown, which is the lesson, come in. So, hoo-wee! All right. So sometimes when we're confronted with a lot of pain, it's because there's change that's trying to happen. It's shedding of a skin. It's breaking out of a chrysalis. It's, you know, I'm thinking of a cicada that's splitting down the back and emerging new and bigger. New and bigger. That's what always blows my mind, is you watch like spiders and crabs and stuff that are molting, and when they come out of the old shell and you look at them and it's like, how the fuck did you fit in that old shell? And you imagine the pain of being so constricted in that shell and the pain of crawling out of it, and then all of a sudden, the expansion. Sorry if that was gross. Okay. Thank you, my dear. Okay, good. I'm glad that makes sense. Creating a new relationship with yourself can be some of the energy behind the number 2 showing up. That's an excellent insight. Okay, great. Who's up next?
Tiny, tiny toys. Coming to talk to you, Samantha.
What in the hell am I doing here? There we go. All right. Who's up next? Who is up next? 6. What do you know? Okay, Spellcaster's Tarot. Oh, there we go. Let's go with the ones that came upright. And this one was on top, so let's go like this. We have 6 of Pentacles and we have Strength. And let's keep it just this simple because I do want to go to the book and look up the spells that are available for us. Here, I'm going to set those aside just in case. All right. 6 of Pentacles is about generosity, giving and receiving. And Strength is about so many things. Strength is about self-control. Strength is about riding the beast inside and taming the beast inside. Here, let's see. Did I get the book out? Yes, I did. All right, let's go straight to these. This is one of those glorious books, full color. Pentacles. There we go. Okay. A gift, most often of money, compassion and charity. Charity for the sake of impressing others, making a show of one's benevolence, begging, carefully weighing what is spent, being fed up with the expense, with expense after expense, or with people asking for one's charity, giving or taking energy without a fair exchange in return. Weren't we just talking about an exchange? Not getting fair pay for one's work, doing something seemingly nice out of pity, one who gives to others only what they must, a small favor, wheeling and dealing, accepting help or offering help, being in a position of inequality, submission. Okay, and that's just the upright position. So, you know, okay, let me go on here. I'm going to look at the magical uses. Use in spells when help is needed, especially when it's help of the financial kind you seek. It can also be used in charms, intended to boost generosity and compassion. All right. And then strength. And then we'll put them together. All right, strength, symbolizing the taming of the beast within. Strength reminds us that neither the rules and religion of the Hierophant nor the heartstrings pulled by the lovers can match the power of self-mastery. While the chariot conquers with speed and power, flying swiftly away from danger, strength sticks around for the fight. Overcoming her foes through patience and compassion, even though this lion of a world has claws, we must love that beast and ride that beast just the same. Oof. Do you feel this talking like directly to the topic we're on tonight? Within each of us lies tremendous strength, an animal instinct coupled with higher conscious. When these forces unite, we become unstoppable. The strength card urges us to feed our passions and face our fears, and to use that energy to propel us toward achieving our grandest dreams and greatest desires. All right. Magical use. Good for magic to boost courage, spells to help overcome addiction or other beasts, and for spells to increase confidence and daring. It can also be used for protective and defensive magic. All right. So, I've got... I'm not going to look up the spells for all of these, but look at what I'm going to do here, just to see what we got. Holy moly. The Sun, the Hermit, 5 of Swords. Sun, looky. All right. So, the Sun and the Hermit. The Sun talks about, I'm looking at coming out of isolation. Okay, so here's another pain point. Here let's talk about the isolation that we've been in. The pain of isolation. Sun says we are coming out of isolation. It feels like a light is coming on in this particular area. Maybe, you know, we're getting out, we're seeing friends again, we're going and doing things that feel normal again, you know, we're making plans again. And what a wonderful feeling that is. It really does feel like warmth returning. And 5 of Swords. Oof, gosh. Did I just confuse myself here? Hold on. All right. Achievement, success, joy. Isolation, deep dive. Being hermity. Really going deeply inside. And then we've got 5 of Swords here, which can talk about abuse of power. It can talk about fear and conquering or being defeated. You know, winning or losing, kind of that duality mindset. And if we look at Sun and Hermit, okay. So I'm being taken in this direction. Sun, Hermit, outside, inside, light, dark. The duality of these things that has us struggling. Win, lose, win, lose. Is this a win? Is this a lose? Or is this a win? You know, we're looking at things changing and morphing on us. Our idea of good and bad, of right and wrong is getting challenged on you know, a daily basis. And the whole thing, the whole slap, to me, it was all about the context. it's all about the meta discussion that is going on around. And, you know, it's taking us out of this idea of simple right, wrong, which, you know, those things are so comforting. It's so comforting to have a very clear idea. This is right and this is wrong. And then when you hear stories, you have to sit back and go, is it though? Is it though? Am I right? How am I right? How am I wrong? It's the ability to reframe, to, you know, to really regard context and hear other realities. And, you know, okay, so that's what I'm seeing there. And then we're looking at self-mastery here with the Hermit and the Five of Swords, saying that, you know, it's very easy for us to get kind of solipsistic and, you know, well, I think it's right, that's all that matters. And in our own value system, what we value does matter. Yes, we have to have a value system. But we are being challenged as to how flexible that value system is. And this is why I'm looking forward to that deck. Because just really looking at, you know, being able to go through and sort through different values to help sort of identify what my core values are. And core values are I want to say they're absolutes, but are they always? I don't know. At any rate, not going to go down that rabbit hole. We are looking at how we master ourselves. And look at her taming the lion rather than just retreating and holding up the swords. I'm going to retreat to my territory where I'm right, and I'm going to, you know, fight anybody that comes at me. And so, and boy, you know, do I know about getting hermity and retreating? Do I know about the shame dance that throws me into retreat? Oh, fuck yes. And then you do this dance of I'm right and the swords come up. But what it's really about here is the strength card, which is about I've got passions in me about something. Those passions don't have to die. My value itself doesn't have to die because I'm getting, you know, because a particular event has caused me to question things, you know? These kind of things, if we allow ourselves to question our own values, it can only help us solidify. It can only help us purify what that value means to us in real time, in the real world, out there, you know? And then over here, we've got the Six of Pentacles. So we have the Sun, which is also generosity and joy and charity. So if we are looking at where our true light is shining here, and deep, deep down inside what values my light is rooted in, then we can look at what do we have to offer? What do I have to offer out of compassion? When I am very familiar with the dance that goes on inside me when I'm in pain, I can understand the dance that goes inside others when they're in pain too. I can recognize that thing, especially that thing that I'm like, hey, you know? The more it triggers us, the more apt it is to ask, how am I like that? What in me still needs healing? And then again, we can shine our light, show our compassion, and be able to contribute. And this is, you know, this card, one of the things about the Six of Pentacles is it can talk about kind of that negative side of charity where we're looking down on people and thinking that they are less than. I'm giving you this because I have what you don't. And, you know, but it kind of can bring in this level system here. So out of compassion, not pity. And compassion says that could be me too. Pity says that could never be me. You know, you're beneath me. And I have, you know, generosity to give you. But true compassion says, I have this generosity because that is also me. I recognize me there too. And then at the bottom, we've got the Queen of Wands. Let's look her up for a spell. Okay. Use in spells to help gain success, independence, self-reliance, objectivity, and freedom of thought. Okay. Freedom of thought. So the ability to look, to change our minds, to continue conversations, to allow ourselves to be changed, to, again, be grounded in, you know, the battle that goes on inside of us, and be able to, we know that territory with so much familiarity that we can recognize it when it's outside of us and respond in compassion. Respond in compassion. And, you know, when we are in pain, recognizing what we still do have to offer others that are also in pain can help a great deal with our own pain. And Queen of Wands is that fiery personality that is just there ready to light the torch, you know, light the torch and lead the way. Okay. I think I'm done there. I'm going to catch up with messages. Feeling your Taurus horns. Yeah, there is financial pain. Absolutely, Tavia. Believe me. And it's only just begun. Five of Swords, deciding what you're going to hold on to. What old memes, programming, judgments. Programmings. Okay. Yep. What to leave behind. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It was triggering in so many ways, and it kicked off my shame dance because I go to the, okay. My, being raised by narcissists, I grew up believing that everything I thought and felt was wrong, that I was just wrong, because that's what I was told. Anytime my little empathic ass noticed things, felt vibes, asked about emotions, I was told, no, I'm absolutely wrong. That is not at all what's going on. So I have a very tender place when I feel like, oh, I'm wrong. I've done something wrong and people are upset. And I go into my shame thing. I will tell you about this spell last Saturday, not in great detail because that calls the energy back, but the reading I did about the spell was about self-worth stuff, you know, purging self-worth stuff, and talk about fast acting. We're on our way to the store. We're going down a highway, you know, 55, 60 miles an hour. And it was a Bee Gees song called To Love Somebody. And the first line of this song is, there's a light, a certain kind of light that never shone on me. And I opened my mouth to sing and sobbing came out. And it was just like, holy shit, man. Fortunately, my son was with me, and he's also an empath, and he's just so good at dealing with emotion. Pulled off into a parking lot. He sat there with me, got in. He's like, what was that? I said, it was a fast acting spell, and here's what it's about. It's about that, you know, that light that never shone on me of, you are valid. I didn't have that light growing up. So, you know, my shame dance was a big one. I also had an encounter with just white fragility of someone who seems like their whole thing was, and, you know, what I was sharing about this was articles that were written by Black people, you know, amplifying voices and really kind of calling attention to the context, which was very important to me, and important to the voices I was sharing. And this guy's basic point of view was, I want this to go away. I don't agree with any of this, and I want it to go away. And it's like, ooh, something is very uncomfortable for you. And it's like, okay, so let it go. But he kept coming at it. And it's like, he was in pain. And a few days later, there was, you know, a post about, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what I've confronted. And yes, we're all going through it. Are we able to confront the dance, whatever trauma dance we're doing? That's the question that we have to answer when these things happen. And I hope so. I hope we are. So, next. God, it feels like, okay, yeah, we're almost an hour and we're, what, 2 decks in? What's next? All right, 6 again. No. 2. All right. This is, they want me to shuffle them this way for some reason. Maybe. It's very humid and my hands are getting really sticky. Hugs and schnickerdoodles. Yes, exactly, Tavia. It brought up our trauma. It brought up trauma across the board, which tells me, you know, something happening on a global, it is a global stage, like that. And when you look at the new moon chart and that Aries stellium of Mercury, Moon, Sun, Chiron, it very adequately described the triggering event, you know. And, you know, it means that it's important. It's important for us as a culture. If it weren't important, it would have come and gone, and that would be that. But like I said, the meta discussion. And, you know, it also brought up to me the fact that when we were freshly in the pandemic and Black people were dropping like flies at the hands of cops, we were very much attuned to and listening to the stories of Black people and what their experience is. And, you know, we were like, yeah. And this one, it's like, okay, we need to keep the ball rolling, folks. We need to continue to listen to these voices. It ain't over by a long shot. Okay. Okay. Ta-da. Oop. All right. These are what want to come out here. Let's just do them this way. The Sun, the Hanged Man, King of Cups, and Knight of Cups. Okay. So, I mean, our theme for the night, golly, thanks, guys. It's really holding, isn't it? Okay, so let's just read the affirmations on these cards. The Sun says, I am optimistic and appreciate all I have. And, you know, we can still be optimistic when we're in the midst of pain. And I've had a few experiences in my life where, you know, I've been absolutely just consumed by pain, emotional pain. We've all had these experiences that we didn't think we were going to make it through. And I remember in particular my divorce. While I was going through it, I mean, it was just soul-wrenching, but at the same time, I was on board. I was done with the place. I was recognizing that the marriage was a symptom of trauma. And I was feeling the pain with a goodwill of just, yeah, you know, in there doing the do, you know. So I was going through it, and I mean, it was also a very magical time for me. I was very connected with things, and I was living the fallout of the big, deep magic that I was doing. And so at the same time, I was almost joyful that, okay, I'm getting through it, I'm doing it, I'm finally doing it, you know. But we can be optimistic, and optimism can come from everything that we have, you know, I mean, gratitude and appreciation. So Hanged Man says, I can see this situation another way. Yep, reframe. King of Cups, I am my own anchor. Knight of Cups, I know that the right person waits until I'm ready. I want a couple more here. I particularly want one for Knight of Cups. And another cup. I listen to my heart and follow my knowing. So the Sun is saying that even though, and I'm going to see my Tapping, tapping, tapping. Even though we are in the shit, even though there is so much pain in the world, even though I have pain personally in my own life, and I'm watching things happening out there that are also painful. Pain seems to be everywhere. I can still find a ray of hope. And there was something, it might have been this deck, that was talking about looking at the sky. Just look up at the sky. If you need to feel hope, if you're feeling bogged down, just go up and look at the sky. And if you're looking at the sky at nighttime and looking at those stars, you know, you can just quietly blow your own mind and get the reframe that the Hanged Man is talking about here. Realize how very, very tiny you are. You know, the sun here and the sun here says, I am the center of the universe. And, you know, of course we're important to ourselves. We're the most important person in our life. But we can get very egotistical, absolutely, especially when we're hurting. You know, it's the ego that kicks up. It's not the soul, it's the ego that needs to be right and perfect and never make mistakes and never hurt anybody, you know? So the ego kicks up, and that can be part of the sun of I am right and perfect and the center of the universe, and I matter to everyone, and what I say matters, and you know, all that kind of stuff. We can make ourselves bigger and bigger and bigger. But when you go out and look for those soul moments, and looking at the stars in the sky can be one of them. When you think of, you know, I might be looking at a star that no longer exists and that died, you know, thousands of years ago, but its light is just now getting to me, and just kind of blow your own mind in that way. You can take yourself back to the soul part of the sun, where you feel eternal and infinite, and also very, very, very small in the big scheme of things. And it can be a relief to realize I'm just a tiny part of this vastness. It can help us to let go of the burden that we're carrying, of it's all up to me, you know. We can maybe have a shift in that direction, and then optimism can come back as well. King of Cups saying, I am my own anchor. So yeah, it really is up to each one of us to bring ourselves back to a place of stability when we have gone off and we've gone into this expansive, I'm the center of the universe, and then we've had an incident that makes us feel so teeny tiny in a bad way, you know, teeny tiny in a worthless way, teeny tiny and I want to go hide like the hermit kind of way. We must have something that anchors us, something that we value, that can bring us back. Music is certainly one of mine. Letting my voice out in song. Cooking food for my family is one of my anchors. It brings me down to, you know, the basics of living, eating, eating food. And that can be a good perspective shift as well. And Four of Cups, listen to my heart and follow my knowing. We have to be connected to our heart, and not just our heart, you know, our individual heart for sure, but our wisdom heart, which knows everything. This is where we tap into the well of compassion, right? So, and I think Kuan Yin, our oracle, is going to come up next because we're talking about the well of compassion. So we can give ourselves that shift. We can bring back our own optimism, see the situation in another way. You know, one of the things that does give a little bit of a reframe is looking at things historically. You know, when I go back to history, and I mean, we look at history in a million ways in our house. We do things like we watch metal detectors on YouTube. We watch mudlarkers. If you don't know what mudlarking is, it's amazing. These guys, particularly in London, they go mudlarking on the Thames. and they find everything from 1,000,000,000,000 clay pipes to old ginger beer bottles from the Victorian era to Roman coins to pieces of ships. And I mean, it's just phenomenal, the stuff they come up with. And then they'll, you know, some guys will do, you know, here's what I found out about this item. And you go into the history of that item and find out about something that was just super critical at that time for those people in that place. The most important thing in the world. And nobody knows about it now. There's a reframe. You know? There's a reframe. So, okay, I'm going to catch up with messages. Natalie, first of all, knowing more about Tarot, just whatever deck you're drawn to, get it, and just do readings for yourself and look up the cards as they're making sense to you. I always say it's best to learn in the context of your own life, because then the meanings will stick with you better, and you will develop a personal dialogue with your deck. It just takes time, honey. Okay, what do I know? Write down. Okay, so you're responding to Natalie there. Wistful and melancholy hope. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of grief to be felt. There's a lot of hard things to be felt. And sometimes, you know, if we're willing to feel them and go after feeling them, we can get through that quicker, you know. When we lose a support system, yes, a person dies, we have to find that support internally. We have to be our own anchor. We're forced into it, you know. And, you know, I always go, here's a reframe too. When I would try to get my mom to, like, get rid of things, we need to get rid of it. And she was very stuff oriented. And, you know, no, we can't get rid of this stuff. We can't get rid of this. We can't get rid of that. And, you know, we're clingy too, believe me. And it's like, well, what would happen? I think I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. What would happen if your house burnt down and all your stuff was just gone? And you know, some people go through that. What's that like? Makes it maybe a little bit easier to let go of some things willingly when you think about that. And same thing, finding your own internal support system. If you've always had people there and you've never been confronted with, where do I go when that person is gone, you know, it can be quite a shock. And then when you do go through that, it can be amazing the strength that you find, where you find, you know, here's what I actually have inside me. So, okay. Be patient, help is here. Yep, there we go. There we go. Be patient, help is here. And I mean, shit is here too. Ohio is, somebody just authored a bill that is right up there with the Florida Don't Say Gay bill. They're trying to do that in Ohio, and it's like, oh, fuck no. I mean, there's work for us to do. There's no doubt about it. But we have to work from a place of strength. We have to work from a place of not being fucking exhausted and tapped out and emotionally just done, you know? And being able to find the optimism again, being able to reframe our world however we need to in the moment, to re-tap into the optimism, to be our own anchor and support system, and then being able to listen to your heart again and follow. Yeah, where we're at. My God. Okay. La 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 la. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's terrifying. It's really terrifying when you think about some things that could be, and it's that balance point. We have to be aware of, here's where they're trying to take things, and be able to extrapolate, if this goes on this far, here's what could happen. Because being able to do that can bring us back to, so in this moment, here's what needs to happen so this doesn't happen. You know, we can put out each small fire, but we also have to be aware of the bigger fires that can come so we can be most effective in the present moment. And we have to be doing that and taking care of ourselves and dealing with the personal shit that it's kicking up in the karmic ship. It's intense, folks. Okay, number 1, the transparent. And morceau de papier. All right. Here we go. If you've never seen this deck in action, it's something else. And I will laugh my ass off if the sun comes out again. I'm talking to my guides as I'm shuffling here going, no court cards, no court cards. I had a few cords come out tonight, but not a whole bunch. All right. These are just fun to shuffle. That's all there is to it. All right. I always feel like I have to have my eyes closed because, whoa! These came out first. So what I'm going to do is a grid of 9. And then, and of course we have a cord. No, that's the something else. 9. And then we stack them. All right. Quartz and quartz and quartz. All right. So we have the 3 of Wands. And in this picture, it really looks like people blending their fire. Each person bringing their own light, but putting the light together, because then we have a bigger fire and a bigger light. Then we have the 7 of Pentacles, review. What are we reviewing here? How are we using our resources? How's this stuff working in practical real time? Then we have the 9 of Cups, the wish card. So 9 of Cups, back to the wish. Is this fulfilling for me? What am I getting out of this? And these are telling me that we want to do this first, and then we're going to do this. Then in the center, we have the Death card, which is a scythe. And we have the 6 of Wands, victory. And we have the Knight of Pentacles. Look at him offering something here. We've got the Page of Swords. And we've got Judgment. And we have the 10 of Wands. Okay. So in the middle is victory. In the middle, we're talking about what I'm hearing is, how do we define victory? How are we going to define victory to ourselves? So looking at the wish card up here, we're going to put our fire together, make a plan, come together with a plan, bring creative energies to fruition, or just to combination. And then we're going to look at things practically. What do we want to do? Where do we want to use it? How do we want to do that? Reviewing in a practical sense with the 7 of Pentacles. And in terms of, because it's what we want, it's being heart-centered. Like the last card's talking about, centered in the heart. I follow my heart. Here's what I know. We're going to put these 3 together. And then look at how. Okay, so at the foundation is what we value and what our heart is telling us. Look at my knuckles collapsing. Wait. What our heart is telling us, based in our compassion. And the person over here with the resources is saying, I'm here to support you. We've got this 3 of Wands saying we're passionate about what we're feeling, and we want to bring this into the collective. We want to join together and light a collective fire to get something done. And then we've got the resources. Someone here is saying, I'm here to support what you want to do. So there are different roles available for us. You know, there's the role of guidance, the 9 of Cups. There's the role of material support, the 7 of Pentacles, and there's the role of the creative ideas. All right. Now we've got death, victory, and the Knight of Pentacles. Look at this offer that keeps happening here, here. All right. Wow, death and victory. I mean, so many things going through my mind there. But death, of course, is about what is coming to an end. What are we cutting away? What are we harvesting here? Look at the wheat. So we're harvesting something. And in order to harvest, in order to have a harvest, something has to die, right? So what are we willing to give up for our victory? What are we willing to offer up for our victory? What are we willing to let go of? And this, again, we've got somebody here that is dedicated to support. What are the practical steps going to be? The slow-moving knight, the knight that doesn't go anywhere. So it's about, I want to be grounded and know that practical steps are being taken. And if we put this in the middle here, that scythe is going right through everything. Ooh, interesting, the echo of the wands and the pentacles here and the wands and the pentacles here getting like whoosh, cut by that scythe. All right, let's do the bottom ones and see where we get to. So we've got the Judgment card here. This is the initiation card. This is a card with inevitability. This is a card of, you know, death and rebirth. So we've got the death here. Here we have the rebirth. And we have the Page of Pentacles, or the Page of Swords, talking about how we think about things, how we frame things in our mind at the very most basic level, intellectual energy. And then we've got the Ten of Wands, oppression, too much to bear. Oof, okay. There's too much to bear. We're getting, and look at how these are over here together. Let's see. So we've got this, all of this burden that's weighing down, and we've got the Page of Swords running in here going, let me chop some of that up for you. Let me, can I cut some of that load for you? Let's think about this in a different way. And then we can rise above from that. But what I want to do now, lots of information in this deck, y'all. This was the, okay, I want them in the order that they were in. And then this was like this, this, and this. Now we're going to put them like this and see what happens. All right. I mean, this is playtime. This is big playtime for me. All right. We have the triple flame together here. And we've got the scythe cutting right through this Page of Swords. So that, to me, talks about more about putting our energies together, more about thinking in a creative way than just intellectual, an intellectual exercise, than just raw intellect is not going to take us where we need to go. Creativity is what's going to take us where we need to go. And then the middle is victory. We rise out of the ashes. We have support. We have the support we need in order to rise victorious. We have the material means that we need in order to rise victorious. And boy, I'm getting drawn to some really like down-to-earth practical interpretations here too. Here's where I see economic sanctions working. All right. Then we've got, okay, the Knight of Pentacles, the one that is managing the resources, the one that is willing to do the kind of the drudgery work with the material resources. We've got the compassionate heart, and we've got the willingness to bear the burden, the willingness to do the work. Okay, interesting. That was a lot of information, but certainly, I mean, we've got all the elements represented, and the fact that what I really want to key into here is death and the phoenix showing up. that we've got death, and we also have the ability to rise again. So even with the devastation in Ukraine now, there's still, where there's life, there's hope, right? Where there's life, there's hope. All right. I want to, how many do I have here? Come and look, what's that? That's the moon. No, the sun didn't show up here. All right, I'm not going to go through all those. Never mind. Okie doke. But one last, and that was the moon. The moon was in there, talking about just really being, again, heart-centered, taking care of our internals. The star happened to come up in there too. So being able to take care of our internal landscape, and also to make sure that we are shielding when we need to shield. The moon talks about our sensitivity and what we take in, you know, so shielding when we need to shield, limiting our exposure when we need to limit our exposure, all of those usual normal things that we talk about. And what do we have left here? Where are we at? Okay. Oops. That was one. We just did one. 5. 5 is the gentle creatures. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that deck is so cool. Becca, you would love it. You would absolutely adore it. When you think about the fucking work that went into this and deciding like where on that, you can't see them because I don't have white in behind anymore, but where on each card the image goes so that they stack in a certain way, and the fact that there are 76,076 combinations of 3 in that deck. Amazing. All right. Seeds of light, hope, and love. Absolutely. And we have to plant them in ourselves first. The fact that our daffodils are blooming out back by our 2 first, the cats that were buried out there first, and their headstones. There were daffodils around there, and they never bloomed because they're inside the woods and they didn't get enough sun. So I removed all the bulbs. We planted them out front. Those ended up getting dug when they took our garden away. And then the daffodils started coming up again because obviously they had propagated. And now they're blooming. And it's a wonderful thing. It gave me hope. So we do. We have to kindle hope every day. All right. Yes, the oppression is running away. I agree there, Samantha, too. It was like the cups were sort of over top of it and arcing down, and then there was the 10 of Wands sort of going away. So it's sort of like emotionally we triumph over that feeling of oppression and that feeling of, you know, hopelessness and helplessness. Okay. Ooh. All right, that's too many. There's the first. We'll take the rest from this. Beacon. What were we just talking about here as the sun has come up out of several decks and dice, and the beacon saying it's time to shine a light. Time to find our true north. See, this is what I'm looking forward to in this values deck, this inner compass deck. I don't think it's a deck that you can read. It's not a, you know, a divination deck. It's a deck about identifying value systems, and I think it will pair very nicely with some other, you know, with readings. So we'll see where it goes. Effort and nurture. So yeah, we got to nurture our light. What is our beacon? What is our true north? What is it that lets us know that we're on track? How do we know when we're off track? I know one thing. One of the diagnostics for me is my closet. If my closet is a wreck, that's because I'm a wreck. Things outside the closet might look okay, but my closet will just be a mess. So that's one of my diagnostics. I can tell that I've not been well when my closet is in that kind of condition. Oh, hello, Darcy Rosner. I did not see you come in. Hello, dear. A light box. Oh, yeah. That's an excellent idea. thanks for the suggestion, Darcy. I appreciate it. I like Darcy's. One of my favorite people is a Darcy. Okay, so we're talking about our true north here, and how do we know when we're okay and when we're not okay? So, when we're dealing with pain, it's a good thing in terms of our own self-care to be consciously and objectively aware of what it looks like when we're not okay. Because when we're not okay, it can be very, very, very difficult to know that we're not okay until things get to a certain state, And so when we come out of the not okayness, whatever tailspin we go through, our shame dance, we can look back and go, oh, here's the point at which I became not okay. And here's how long it took me to figure out that I was not okay. And here's the dance that I did to try to be okay when I in fact wasn't. So knowing our true north, knowing what it looks like when we're functional, when we're okay, when we're not okay, can help us to shine our light and help us to identify what that light is. What, the thing is that we have to offer, that we can be a compass point for other people. When they're having difficulties, we can shine our beacon that may attract them and, help them find their way out of the fog and the dark as well. And this is part of talking about our own trauma, about, one of the things that is devastating to the shame dance is talking about it, is being honest about it, and letting other people who might have an idea that you are maybe perfect or better than they are, putting messages out there so those people know, oh man, if she could feel that way, maybe I'm not so imperfect. Maybe I shouldn't be ashamed of the way I feel if they're willing to just talk about it. And Brene Brown, if you guys don't know about Brene Brown or you've never done any reading of Brene Brown, please do. I started with her book called Daring Greatly. Her work is in shame and vulnerability. And it is so needed now because, we're coming, we're watching the growing pains of a culture that is very shame-based. And a culture that for so long it was, you don't talk about your problems. You don't talk about even health issues. Back in the early 1900s, if you had a family member that had an illness, it was shh, you don't talk about it. People were put away because it was seen as a weakness. It was seen as a shame, a defect in the person. And I just want to share something that I shared on Facebook today. It's somebody's quote, a tweet that said, spiritual trauma is installing an inner critic in somebody's head and calling it the voice of God. So talking about shame and, those things that we don't want to admit because we feel like we're less than and weak. Sometimes if we get to the point of saying, yes, I go through these things, it can be a beacon to other people. It can be nurturing to them. It can take effort for us to talk about our trauma and our struggles and our imperfections. Shame can keep us from talking about those things, from talking about our own pain. But if we make the effort, look at the little umbrella. The big creature's got a little tiny umbrella, but it's the right size for her. Maybe she's given him that umbrella, and even though, it's much smaller than he is, it's an effort. It's okay, I'm going to try to keep the rain out. No matter how inadequate this is, I'm going to make the effort to keep the rain out. And maybe, that part of that effort is talking about what it feels like, what our pain is. And then we become that beacon and sharing our own journey, our own healing with others can be nurturing to them. It can nurture their own journey. Wings and daybreak. Yeah. Okay. So when we do these things, we're also reminding ourselves of our own strength and what we've been through. sharing our pain, sharing our story. There's the sun. Here's me, you know, warts and all. And it can help to unburden us, because we find a lot of people that say, yeah, me too. Yeah, okay, I resonate with that. I understand. I hear you, you know, and that can lighten us up a lot. Wings here is talking about just lightening up, lifting up. And daybreak over here, coming out of the darkness. So also being willing to kind of be in that darkness. You know, we can't shine our light 24 hours a day. We can't be in the light 24 hours a day. And when we are in the dark, we remember to just nurture ourselves. Nurture ourselves and keep that nurturing going until daybreak again, because day will always come. And then the last one we get here is create. So to create from it, and I think I've said before too, you know, when we go through times of trouble, which every generation has, you know, everybody in history has gone through times of, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And in those times, the music, the art that comes out is incredible. And music and art can help us hear the voices and hear the pain and express the pain that we're in. So another way to express the pain is to create. And to express the pain is to move through the pain, is to diminish the pain eventually. So creativity, wings create, daybreak, creating through the pain, creating from the pain, can be a way to lift yourself out of it, can be a way for shifting the night into day. And I want to direct you, I don't watch the Academy Awards, I don't watch the Grammys, but I care about what happened at the Grammys because Jean-Baptiste won Album of the Year, and if you have not listened to his album called We Are, you should. This man, he is the band leader, his band is called Stay Human, for Stephen Colbert show, and the the Late Show. And he is such a human being, such a stellar human being. He's a genius of talent and ability, and yet he's got such a Buddha-like innocence about him. He's joyful, he's sweet, he's gentle, he's got the most gentle face ever, and you should watch his videos. Watch the video called Freedom, talk about lifting you up. You should watch that video, and you should listen to his album because he's amazing. Okay, I'm checking in with things too. We're ready to fly, ready to step out into the light of day. That's right. This is the Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck. Darcy, there we go. We are in interesting times with the worldwide collide. Yeah, absolutely. Jean-Baptiste. Okay, so I think you're... Darcy, I think your speech to text got a little confused and came up with John Nastiness instead of Jean-Baptiste. Okay. He writes lullabies for his wife. Oh my God. I didn't know she's in the hospital. I knew he just got married, but I didn't know she was in the hospital. Oh my gosh. That's sad. I send good energy to him. I send good energy to them both because he's brought me a lot of joy lately. So again, you know, when we were talking about I'm my own anchor, part of that is the things that other people that have created that bring you joy, that shift your energies and bring you out of things. So, all right, there we go. There we go with that deck. All right, what do we have left here? We have Kyle. We have Kyle and we have Kuan Yin. All right. All right, Monsieur Kyle. What do you have for us? We have that. What else do you have for us? If you want to flip out that neatly, that's great. I'll just keep shuffling. Oh, no. Oh my God. Wow. So, you know, you look at somebody, he just won a buttload of Grammys. He's so talented. You think about, you know, someone having everything and getting married and falling in love and how wonderful his life is. And then you hear about the bottomless pain of your partner dealing with life-threatening illness. So it's all of us, folks. It's all of us. And you know, when I lead Dances of Universal Peace, I was going to put that in the past tense, but I'm not sure it's in the past tense yet. There's a dance that we do that is Kuan Yin. It's Kwanjeon Bosai, the Korean name for Kuan Yin. And there's a part of the dance, we just walk in a circle. We do refuge, that's one of the rounds. We take wisdom petals out of our heart, so we're looking at all the experiences that we've had of our heart that opens us in compassion. We're offering those wisdom petals because our stories are worthy, our stories have value, our pain has value. And so that's a round. And the third round of it is we're walking and we're rocking a baby. You hold like, you know, like you're holding a baby and you rock the baby. And what we do is imagine all of the hurting people, yourself included, as a tiny infant. And we're comforting, we're rocking that baby. And it's especially interesting to do this and do it for the people that you really can't stand. The more you can't stand them, the more vital it is for you to do this. And what I do is, because those are the people that are hurting the most. You know, Vladimir Putin is probably the person that's in the most pain in this planet. He's certainly in a lot of karmic trouble. But, you know, he's acting out of his pain and trauma too. And I know we want to say, I don't care, let him hurt. I hear that. But if his trauma were healed so that he doesn't act out in this way anymore, you know, if it's even possible, who knows? But why not put that energy out instead of running the pain of hatred through your own body? You can imagine Vladimir Putin as this tiny baby, because I do not believe babies are born evil. I do not. And so you can imagine this hurting person, this tiny baby, and maybe you can feel some compassion enough to say, I wish that your hurts were healed. I wish that you were not in such pain, you know. Okay, so we've got Akashic Records here, clearing old stories, releasing past lives, freedom, unburdening ourselves. And you know what? Trauma, we talk a lot about healing trauma and stuff, but this is a lifelong thing. It's not like you go through it once and then it's gone. There's an imprint, you know, that you carry. And it's always possible to go back and pick scabs. It's always possible to rewound yourself. And things, you know, things get triggered. Old memories get triggered. So we do our best. Every time it comes around, we do our best to clear the old stories by claiming the old stories. Claiming, yes, this is my story and it's my responsibility to heal. And that is what takes us to freedom. Memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, technology. Okay, spiritual acceleration. We are in a time of spiritual acceleration. I do believe it. I do believe it. That's why everything is so heavy, you know, or we're accelerating because things are so heavy. You know, is cause and effect, chicken egg, which who knows, you know? This is timeless and infinite, and it is specific and time bound as well. So know that we're accelerating, and that can be painful and scary, because it's like, I'm not ready, I didn't want to do this right now, and we get dragged through it. But the more you can hang on and go with, the better it is. Serious star blessings. Yes. This is what it says. Yes. Proceed. Be seen. Push through this accelerated period. Venusian Galactic Council, Star Being Guides, Answer the Call, Time to Shine. Holy moly, is this a great deck to come up last or what? And this is why I picked picked it because it is very uplifting. All right. We got a few more to go. Oh, look, it's the central sun. Abundance downloads, regeneration, success. We'll get through it, you guys. Temple of Truth, throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression. Talk about your pain. Share your story. Be vulnerable. Of course, you want to choose who to be vulnerable with. We don't want to share our pain with people that are going to belittle us or are going to go, aha, now I know where the soft spot is. You know, we don't want to share our pain with abusers. But we do want to share our stories so that others can learn. And at the end, we have crown chakra upgrade, divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy. Wow, what a line. What a line. Clear the old stories and we push through. We accelerate spiritually. We get the affirmation from the universe of yes, 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 keep going. You'll get there. We have star being guides. We have our guides there telling us, yes, you're getting through it, sending us the little signals that we get. The 1111s on the clock, you know, the hawk flying right over your car when you're thinking about a particular thing. Then we have the abundance downloads. We know that we're regenerating spiritually. This is Phoenix, this is Sun. That if we allow ourselves to regenerate, if we willingly go through processing whatever pain we're in, we will arise again like the phoenix. If we are willing to be consumed in the flame of whatever pain we're in, it will help us burn away more of the false self. And the true self, the sun self, the soul self gets even stronger and clearer. I mean, it's already at maximum strength. It's just weighed down by a bunch of gunk. What happens is it appears to be stronger because the gunk is going away. We're allowing it to shine through. We're shifting it from the focus on the ego to the focus on the soul and the spirit. And then the throat chakra, we speak out of that soul part. We speak out of our authenticity and our own truth. And when we do that, the gods speak through us. There's a divine connection. The gods speak through us. We're connected. The words that come out of us are the eternal words of spirit. Okay, let me check up on okay, Darcy. Darcy's. See that you spell our name the right way. Okay, Akashic Records popping up for you, Sam. And yes, Tavia, may you be well, mind and soul. You can never have too many Darcys around. I heartily agree, Samantha. They are a rarity. I know two now. Rare like Dolomite or Laramite. Laramar. Yep, Laramar. Funny, Darcy Rosner. Laramar is Darcy Engel's favorite stone. Oh my God, you too. Shine on, maybe I'll shine on like the moon and the stars and the sun. Oh yes, what a great song, Instant Karma. Oh, interesting. No, I'm a Leo. I'm not a water sign, but I have a Pisces moon and Scorpio rising. So 2 out of my big 3 are water. Yes, this is High Silver Spirit. Yeah, it is an amazing line here, isn't it? You know, in the context of what we've been talking about here. Yeah, I am so happy I got it. I realized that I hadn't gotten a Kyle Gray deck, and I saw this one was his newest out and went for it, and wowie, wow, 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 it's a storyteller. It certainly is. I'm going to grab Kuan Yin now. It's so funny. It's like the first hour went by so fast, and the second hour doesn't seem to be going by as quickly. But let's pull out Kuan Yin here. And I might actually grab something like the Deck of Character and take a look at the situation. Okay. Yes, these two Darcys are absolutely bonded. It's amazing. Twin Darcys. Oh my God. All right. So put out a call for me, with me, to Kuan Yin, to the goddess of compassion. She holds a vessel at her heart and it's pouring out. So she's pouring out compassion from her wisdom heart. And you know, when you show compassion, it is coming from your wisdom heart. You're not taking things from your own energy body. You tap into divine energies and you channel it through. And the wisdom heart has an infinite amount to be connected to. All right. One more shuffle through and then I'm going to cut. Okay. Orchid, Priestess of Destiny. All right, let's see what she has to say. The Orchid Priestess of your highest spiritual destiny calls to you now, beloved. She calls you to your purpose, path, and soul passion. You are called to rise again and again, to live up into your potential with all its uniqueness and beauty. She will call you always with her sweet flute playing deep in your heart, blooms of orchid and chrysanthemum falling from her feet, stirring your heart to quest for your truest soul passion. Okay. And with the sun coming up multiple times in these readings, it is about your soul passion here. You know, Sagittarius is a fire sign, which is passion, but it's passion to understand. It's a passion to know, to grow, and to understand. And that teaches us again what we value. It comes back to feed and nurture the seeds of what we value and help us grow them into something bigger. Okay. So what we have here, I'm going to read this little meditation here. You guys ready? All right. Imagine that you were standing, so get comfy, all right? Get comfy here. Imagine that you are standing in the center of a spiral that extends above and below you, with a softly lit, glowing goddess Kuan Yin beside you. Blossoms of flowers fall around her. Orchid motifs are embroidered on her clothing, and she plays a melody on a soft flute straight into your heart. As you look down, you can observe where you have been vibrationally and how much you have grown spiritually over the months and years. Well done. You look above and not only sense where you are going, but also feel the pull in your heart to help you get there. As you listen to Kuan Yin playing her flute into your heart chakra, you find that you are able to rise easily, your heart expanding as you ascend to the next rung of the spiral. Say, thank you, Kuan Yin, Orchid Priestess of Divine Destiny, for your unconditionally loving assistance to help me step up into the next phase of my divine destiny now. I embrace it with all my heart. So be it. Om Mani Padme Hum. Feel yourself on the new level of the spiral and take a few breaths there, hearing the flute of the Orchid Priestess as if it were now playing within your own heart center and becoming more comfortable in this new turn of your spiritual spiral. Be aware of that feeling in your heart flowing down both sides of your body, into your hips, legs, and feet, and then up from the heart to your chest, shoulders, and arms, neck, and head. Bring your awareness back to your heart, and when you are ready, just open your eyes. I mean, we didn't go that deep in the beginning, so. But very interesting, because what this is saying is that the pain that we are feeling, those of us that are trying to be awake and aware, I saw something else this week that said, the more you know, the more you suffer. And my response to that was, yeah, that's a great little nutshell of some mythology. Like, the more you steal fire from the gods, the more your liver gets pecked at for eternity. Or the more you eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the more you get kicked out the garden, right? So the more you are empathic, the more awake, open, in tune, connected you are, the more you are going to feel the pain of the world and suffer. Feel the suffering. This is talking about using it as a stepladder, us processing, working with this pain. As we work with this, you dedicate the energy to all sentient beings. And let's face it, the earth is a sentient being and everything on it. So, Tonglen Practice. I haven't talked about Tonglen in a while. Tonglen Practice is where when you're in your pain, and it's great to remember it when you're in the extremity of your pain, when you're feeling like, oh, the most shame and like, get me out of here. You want to run away. If you can, in that moment, sit with what you are feeling and then breathe it in deeply, all the heaviness, all the darkness, all the pointiness, all the shame, the pain, the grief, the everything. Breathe it in, and with the will, I want to feel every bit of this. Bring it, come on, show me what you got. Breathe it in, and when you exhale, it expands. You just feel it expand out and then shatter into a million billion little pieces of light. And then you continue to do this work for yourself. And as you're doing it, remind yourself that this is the human condition. We all go through this because we stole fire from the gods. Because we ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, we can see what's good and what's bad, and we feel the pain of that. And you do this work knowing, okay, this very thing, this pain, this shame, connects me with every single other human being that's ever walked the face of the earth. And then the next phase, the next level of it is, I am willing to feel, I'm already feeling it, already feeling the pain. And I am willing to feel it on behalf of all other sentient beings, and I'm willing to move this through. Then you level up spiritually. So we're talking here about coming up the spiral spiritually, doing your healing work, and sending that music out of your heart chakra, dedicating it to all the suffering beings. So the purpose that we put to this pain is we're going to use it to do our work on behalf of all of humanity. And we are light workers. And we are powerful. And what we do makes a difference. It makes a difference. Okay. Okay, that quote, Tavia, was, I'm typing it in, spiritual trauma is installing a critic, and this is paraphrasing, in someone's mind and telling them it's the voice of God. Okay. There's that quote. Okay, wait, I'm catching up with things here. Ooh, I got a lot to catch up with. I love it when you guys are chatty with each other. It makes me feel like I'm at a party. Okay, let's see. Angels and Ancestors. Blah, blah, blah. Kyle Gray is the author of, here. This is his latest one, The Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. Okay, Kyle Gray. All right. Okay, the Darcy's in New England and Akron. South Carolina. Okay. All right, and then we need the quote again. Got the quote. I'm glad you guys are getting to know each other. South Carolina, Atlanta. Oh my goodness. You're very welcome. I also believe we can rise above the suffering and be able to observe it and acknowledge it, but then continue to rise above it. You only move it through when you feel it. You only move it through when you feel it. is what my experience is. That if there is pain, I mean, if it's not your pain, then yes, you can rise above and choose not to feel it. If it is your pain, the only way out is through. Okay. And you know, the term rise above, and I'm not criticizing you, Samantha, in any way here, but I'm just, you know, semantics and the language and how we say things. When we talk about rising above, it's like, you know, my mom used to say, be bigger and better. It was like one of the only pieces of advice she gave me that I could actually use sometimes. And it does say, you know, don't get down and roll around in the muck with people if they're trying to drag you down. Be bigger and better. But also just that bigger and better. She was a narcissist, remember, is all about, I'm up here, I'm going to rise above, you're still down there, you know? So when we're talking about pain and suffering, again, we want to think about compassion rather than pity, and to do the work of, I mean, Tonglen, we were talking about Tonglen. Tonglen doesn't work. You can't rise above the suffering and do Tonglen. Tonglen is about being willing to feel it. That's what transforms it, is someone being willing to feel it on a human level. All right. Yes, Darcy, that is quite the quote. It resonates with a lot of former Christians, I'm sure. All right. Lana has the best food and music, sure. Take a screenshot, hell yes. Yes, empathy. Empathy. Empathy is feeling with. Compassion is feeling with, you know. It's about, I feel it because I'm the same as you. I feel it with you. We're together in this. Not, I'm doing this because I'm up here and you're down there, you know. So Tonglen is about being willing to get in there. But the thing is, too, it's most potent when you are actually having your feelings, when things are sucking and you're having the feelings. And this is where the practice comes in, and you're able to go, oh, this is an opportunity for practice. So this is one of the things that the Tibetans, and why I really love Tibetan Buddhism, and Tonglen it comes out of Tibetan Buddhism, is because they don't see anything, nothing goes to waste. You know, you have an experience that kicks you into all kinds of emotional turmoil, and it's not like, oh shit, I'm you know, rocked out of my peaceful state, so I'm not, you know, in Buddhahood anymore, and I've failed, you know. But the time when you get rocked into that terrible state is the greatest opportunity for practice. That is where you can do the greatest work from. So if we look at, you know, the turmoil and the suffering as, yeah, bring it, now we're getting somewhere. You know, it's kind of like what Putin's doing in Ukraine of, yeah, good, show yourself. Now the whole world knows who you are, and we're getting somewhere. We can do something about you, you know? So when we get to the most critical part, to the point of pain, which is what we've been talking about this whole time, is where we really can do the transformative work, the phoenix work of, you know, I remember having an insight once. I was meditating and doing my kind of automatic writing and stuff, and it was like, oh, I get it. The phoenix doesn't just burst into flame. The phoenix willingly goes into the flame, willingly lies down on the pyre. I am willing to suffer that pain in order to burn away the false self, in order to burn away the ego and reveal the soul pure and rising like a phoenix. So, okay. You can't positive think yourself into being a millionaire. Here, Jake. I agree with you. And I also, being Plutonian, am not a love and light. Yes, love and light, absolutely. But there's also, you know, death and darkness, and we have to deal with that too. And I have never had an issue with the dark places because that's where I've lived. You know, this has been my journey this lifetime, is the dark places. And, you know, and like I said, being willing to, with Tonglen Practice, you have to be willing to feel the pain in order to do the work. So I agree. And, you know, the worst thing, the most toxic thing, as you know, Jake, you know, is that we can be in love and light when we're creating our lives, we're going through life. Here's what I want to put into the world. That's amazing. Yes, all about love and light. And when somebody is in dark and pain, the worst thing in the world you can do to them is go, yeah, well, at least you're blah, 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 you know, or there's a blessing in this. Look for the blessing. Something always happens for a reason. Toxic love and light. No, you're in the dark. Let me come and be there with you. I will come and sit in the dark with you. Let me know what you need. You know, you have to acknowledge the suffering before you can do anything about it. If we're not willing to look at that elephant in the room, ain't nobody gonna ride it out. Okay, let's see here. Well, and as far as the law of attraction stuff, I just go back to the dude that was in the Secret movie that ended up in prison for killing a bunch of people in a fucking sweat lodge because he wouldn't listen to what they were saying and wouldn't let them out. So, yeah, I agree. Yes. Yes, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And there's the story about the monastery where one of the senior lamas died, and the most senior lama of the monastery was weeping and deeply in grief. And the younger monks came and said, "What the hell's going on? We thought you understood. Why are you weeping?" And he's like, "Oh, I do understand, but when else do I get an opportunity to weep?" So it's also about feeling the fullness of life, all of life. This is the whole journey. This is the whole journey. And when have you ever grown from the good times? When have you ever had big lessons and shifting and big aha moments and grown spiritually from, well, I mean, it does happen. It does happen. But we tend to really do our biggest leaps. I tend, let me own this for myself, I tend to do my biggest leaps out of the dark times too. So, well, embracing is accepting, Silver, is what I say. Okay, I'm trying to catch up with some things here. So, accepting the pain is acknowledging that it's there. That's the acceptance part. Oh, I'm in a lot of pain. Embracing the pain is show me what you're about. What is this pain about? Listening to it, talking to it. Sorry, my throat was getting really dry. So I think, yes, acceptance and embracing are both important. And it's not embracing like, you know, oh, pain, I love you. I'm going to live it with you forevermore. It's I'm pulling you close. I'm going to pull you close because I want to know what you're all about. Tell me your story. Show me your truth. Show me my truth, you know? I always say it's like if you have a machine that is broken. Say you've got a CD player and it's broken and it doesn't work and you really want it to work and you need it to be fixed and everything, so you stick it in a closet because it's broken. Don't want to acknowledge that. Nothing happens, right? You have to take it out of the and you have to acknowledge this is broken and something needs fixed before it can be fixed. So acceptance is just saying this exists. I'm acknowledging that this exists, and then embracing is come close to me. I value you. Come close, my love. That pain is you suffering. Come close, my love. Tell me about your suffering, and then listen to yourself. Okay, backing up a little bit again. Yes, Tavia, that's important. Feel, but don't wallow. It's not about, now I'm the victim. Now I'm going to walk around in my pain all this time. Accepting is also accepting this is my responsibility to take care of. Yes, Samantha, absolutely. There's a difference between sitting with an emotion and dwelling in it and making it your identity, you know? So when we're willing to look at it and embrace it, and I'm going to work on this, this is empowerment. You know, I am empowered to move this through, not just take it on as an identity and another ego cloak, you know, because the victim stance is a way to get attention. It's an ego dance. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm losing something. All right. I live with the pain, but it's, yeah, okay. Sedona. I mean, law of attraction isn't quite BS. It does work. It's magic. But yeah, there are parts that can be argued with. Yeah, Jake, hell yes. It is shallow. You know, law of attraction is about, you know, my vision board and my house and my money and my, yes, absolutely. That is the problem with the law of attraction stuff, is it's all about me and what I want rather than, yeah, manifesting ending world hunger. No shit. Yep, I got you. I got you, Jake. What can you bring forth out of pain? Well, that's the question that you're answering when you go into the pain. You don't know that. There's that saying about if you want to reach another, you know, if you want to get you want to get something done and go on a long journey, you have to be willing to lose sight of the shore. And the hardest part of the healing journey is when you have lived with your trauma as an identity for so long. And you think, okay, if I heal all this and this part of me goes away, there's going to be nothing left. You have to be willing to let go of that false self without knowing what's going to happen after. You know, it's that willingness to go into uncertainty, doubt and uncertainty. And you will always be wonderfully surprised, I can tell you that. Okay. You bring forth the diamond that's in the middle of your pain. What you do is you end up peeling back layers of ego and uncovering the true self. Terrified of pain in random life. Oh, isn't that the truth? I don't think pain is feminine or masculine. Pain is human. Pain is human. Okay. Yes, calling on Kuan Yin to open your heart. And, you know, sometimes, oh, hi, Abigail. I'm just seeing you now. There are times when it helps if you can almost split yourself into two people. The one who is suffering and the one who is here to help. If if the pain is so big, and the thing is, you have to trust yourself on what you're ready to deal with. I'm not advocating go in and just strip yourself bare and throw yourself into terrible trauma. No. You need to trust your heart, follow your process, let your psyche deliver the pain that is right for you to process. And then when that happens, stop and think, okay, the state that I'm in right now, if I were looking at my best friend, what would I do for that woman? Sometimes when we're in pain, we beat the shit out of ourselves. You know, we really do beat ourselves up for what we're going through, that we shouldn't be experiencing this, and I've been through this before, and why haven't I? But, we really do that. But I want you to listen to yourself as you would listen to someone else. And we did a thing at Hogwarts once about self-talk. And when I would hear somebody say, oh, I'm really stupid, I left that at home. It's like, don't talk about my friend that way. I'm such an idiot. Don't talk about my friend that way. So catch yourself when you're talking about yourself that way. And let that friend part of yourself say, don't talk about my friend that way. She's hurting. So if you can do that duality thing, sometimes you can just be with yourself in that way. And it helps you to take a little bit of a mental step aside from the pain. You're still in it, but there's a part of your consciousness that is aware that we can move through this, and I'm going to help us move through. So I find that that helpful as well. Oh, Abigail, I hear you, honey. Gathering the information from that is the work of the feminine energy. You hand it over to the masculine within to go about and take action. There you go. There you go. The Nicolette deck. No. Do I know the Nicolette deck? Nicolette. No, I'm thinking of Chicoli, what her name is, but I don't think that's the Nicolette deck. Oh my gosh. Which Jake is this? Oh my God. I mean, is this Jake? Like our Jake? Computer Jake? Dude. Okay. Actually, it's funny because there is a Jake that is our Jake that is a friend that did go to Hogwarts when I was doing, so. Interesting. Slytherin, yeah, baby. Okay. Wow, lots of conversation tonight. Jade Kuan Yin, yes! Wear that brooch. Okay, so if that's the deck, I don't have the tarot. I have her oracle. And no, I don't read from it, and I need to pull it out and read from it. Thanks for the reminder. It's Jake from State Farm. Okay, but anyway, gosh, we're past 2 hours, you guys. I can't believe this, but this tells me that this is a huge topic. Pain is uppermost for us right now, and it's everywhere. We're experiencing it on all levels. We're experiencing it on the mental level, on the emotional level, physical level, spiritual level, creative level. We're experiencing pain across the board and from top to bottom. And it's very, very important that we are willing to do the work, that we are willing to work on ourselves. And as we do, we can benefit others as well. So at the end of any kind of Buddhist practice, what we do is dedicate. Whatever work you do when you're meditating, if you're doing magic, spell work, whatever it is, when you finish, it's called dedicating merit, offering merit. And you say, whatever benefit I have received from this practice, I offer it to all sentient beings. I offer it to all of humanity. And really just to all sentient beings is better because that covers the entire planet. So let's say that whatever merit we have achieved tonight, whatever lessons we've gotten that have helped to lift us up, that have helped to give us hope, to bring us back into our optimism of the sun and optimism of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is such an optimistic sign. And bring us back to our core values here of being light workers and helping humanity. Whatever merit we have gained here tonight, we offer it freely and completely for the benefit of all sentient beings. So mote it be. Okay. Earl Darcy's sarcastic. Only the good ones. Oh, well, we were all on fire. You guys contributed as much, when there's conversation going on and when we're all bringing our own vulnerabilities and willing to talk about this topic, we really do get somewhere, right? Madame Endora's deck. I have Madame Endora's deck. She might have to show up next week. Get the tarot, cut the titles off, read it like an oracle. Oof, yep. Yep. Yes, I do like that deck. In fact, I got that deck because Madam Samantha told me about it. Darcy Rosner, I have now 307 decks. So Yeah, I got a problem. I got a problem. Thank you. Yep, this was a thing of just helping to pull myself out of my doldrums, helping to remind myself of times when I felt better, stronger, more together. Plus, I need to pick up a guitar, and so I do my gel nails because I play with my nails, not a pick, and these suckers are bulletproof. So this is me taking a step closer to reclaiming my music, which is a big part of my soul, and I haven't touched a guitar in months. Okay. All right. All right, you guys, thank you so very much. Please hit the like button on your way out if you remember to. And down below is my wish list, which is growing bigger and bigger every day. And places where you can send me a coffee, give me a tip and I'll buy some coffee or buy a deck. Usually I buy a deck. I hate to say it, but I buy a deck. So, all right. Thank you so much for being here. 4,000 decks. I don't even want to know that there are that many. I don't want to know that, Jake. Oh my God, 1,000, Darcy. Oh my God. I bow to you, Darcy. I bow to you. Oh my God. I am now creatively jealous. All right. Yay, ukulele and piano and everything. All right, you guys, thank you again so much for being here. I love you all. I will see you on the next unboxing. And Samantha, please watch for the next unboxing because it's for you, dear. All right, I'll see you next time. I love you all. Blessed be.